Thank you so much, sir, for always availing your time. This is one man that I know is not very quick to always send a representation. He gives his time to what he does. Let's appreciate him one more time. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate your presence. And we also have the Managing Director, Oil and Gas Free Zones Authority, Alhaji Bamanga Usman Jada, and he's being represented by Dr. Cynthia Egurudu. You are welcome, ma'am. We appreciate your presence. And of course, we have the very woman who oversees the day-to-day running of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, and who is committed to create innovation around doubling the exports of Nigeria and making sure that the most needed forex comes into this country in quantum. Please let's celebrate the ED CEO, Nigerian Export Promotion Council. I call her the indefatigable Mrs. Nonye Ayeni. Thank you so much, ma, for being here. I'd like to appreciate all the directors, the director, Product Development Department. Oh, she just came here. Okay, before I recognize her, we have the Registrar General, CAC, who sent a representative, the Director of ICT, or better, Ambrose Chimike. Please, let's appreciate him. Thank you, sir. Please, I would ask you come forward, sir, if you don't mind. Thank you very much. He's representing the Registrar General, CAC. Before I got to him, I wanted to recognize the directors, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, and I will start by recognizing the Director, Product Development Department, Mrs. Evelyn Obidike. The Director, Policy and Strategy is unavoidably absent, Mr. Lawal Shehu Dahat. And then we also have here Mr. Andy Abubuten. He's the Director, Export Development and Incentives. Thank you, sir. The Director, Trade Information, Dr. Joe Ita. With also is the Director, Corporate Services Department, Mrs. Esther Ibora. And the Director, State Offices Coordinating Department, Mr. Arnold Jackson. Sitting right next to him is the Director, Solid Minerals, Mr. Samson Idowu. Thank you, sir. And then we have the Director of Markets Access Department, Mr. Akitunde Folorusho. And so this is the team alongside the ED that have conveyed this conference. And we look to having very robust conversations. And by the time we leave here, we want to have been able to reach certain decisions and come up with certain ideas that can become policies and will change, like I said earlier, the cost of the export of services and then e-commerce in Nigeria. To take us further in this event, I would like us to welcome, for her welcome address, the ED CEO, Nigerian Export Promotion Council. Please, with a very warm round of applause, welcome Mrs. Nonye Ayeni. Let's keep the applause going louder.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. The Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anite, CFA, the Permanent Secretary of Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Ambassador Nura Rimi, the Managing Director, CEO of Nexim Bank, Abubakar Ababelo, Professor Aremo, Dr. Obiora, representatives of MDs of sister agencies and other agencies here present, captains of industries, my dear panelists, and directors of Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, my directors of NEPC, the people that make me proud, management and staff of NEPC, ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen of the press, all other protocols duly observed. Let me say that it is a privilege, and I will say I'm excited to be here for this conference, this great conference. This conference today, I will say, is the first on service. So it's hinged on two major pillars. One is export of services. The second is e-commerce. You will agree with me that these are some hot topics going around the whole world. Anywhere you go right away, from Europe to the US to Asia, they are talking about service export. They are talking about e-business. They are talking about digital trade. They are talking about e-commerce. So these are hot topics. And Nigeria should also key into this. And you agree with me that services almost all over the world contribute much larger percentage to GDP. In Nigeria last year, 2023, GDP, the contribution from services was much more than agricultural products. And to put context to it, I'm sure everyone knows the number of agricultural products and the volume of export in Nigeria. I'm even talking about the ones that are formalized. If you put together the ones that are not formal, then you see that the volume is high. Then by 4.7, so by 2.7 as at first half of the year. So put it side by side, and you see that services contributes higher in terms of contribution to GDP. By according to UNCTAD 2022, the world global service export as at 2022 came as $7.1 trillion US dollars. $7.1 trillion US dollars. That's a huge sum. And for Africa, it was $132 billion just for services. And Nigeria, it was about $4.8 billion. And you agree with me that services is not structured. It's greatly unstructured and greatly untapped. And when we're talking about services, it cuts across several areas. It cuts across outsourcing, IT. We have a lot of our young ones leaving the country, going to other clients. And the very pathetic thing is that when they get there, if they earn, say somebody earns $3,000, he practically spends virtually all of it in paying rent and other things and tax. Before you know it, the money is gone. And the worst part of it is that they don't even go physically. They go there, they sit down. Most of the work they do is remote. So why? But if those same people stay in Nigeria and earn $3,000 every month, you can imagine how much they will have. Do we agree with me? Yes, you can imagine how there's no way they can spend $1,000. So that is what actually pushed us to say, what can we do? What can we do to open them up so that we can also get these flows? And remember, it's not just about the individual. The country will also benefit because those $3,000, $3,000, $2,000, all over when you aggregate it, it also forms part of export. So this is one of our motivating factors. And then it's not just about IT. Services cut across even banks. There are some bankers sitting here. Banks, some of them, majority of the large banks, they have branches or they have operations outside the country. It's service. Let's talk about payment system. Nigeria, incidentally, in the whole of Africa, correct me if I'm wrong, we have, in terms of fintechs, in terms of payment system, in terms of cards, we stand tall in the Committee of Nations within Africa. That's also service. You talk about entertainment. Anywhere you enter, anywhere in Europe, you hear Nigerian music. Even people that they've never been to Nigeria. That's the Afrobeat. I'm not going to mention their names. You also talk about movie, the Nollywood. All of us sitting here, when we want to relax over the weekend, we watch videos. And everywhere, I used to have a friend that is not in Nigeria. Anytime I travel, he said, bring me a Nigerian movie. These are services. But the only thing is that it's grossly unstructured. And that's the essence. That's one of the motivation for this program. So let me round up by saying the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. So we decided to put it together so that we can have the panel interview. We also realized that most times we go for programs and conferences. We have panel interview, people speak, and they just go. We clap for them, and maybe sometimes we are not able to take some of those ideas and their thoughts that they've shared with us. And it goes. Then next time we call them again. So we decided to do it a bit differently. We're just going to have one panel session, but we'll have breakout sessions. So all of us here, we've structured it in a way that you'll be in one group or the other. We want to pick your brain, if I may use that. Let's see how we can begin to structure, begin to put actions around what we've been talking about. What is the way forward? What can we do? What are those actionable things that we can do, we can pick and feel and touch? It doesn't matter how many, it could even be one or two. And whatever we can come out from this program, whoever, if they come out, then you own it. Because at NEPC, we are not exporters, we're just enablers. So we own it, and then we can collaborate with you to make it happen. And we have taken time to invite a lot of people here. You have people from the banks, you have banks, you have the MD next to him, he's there to support us in different ways. You have our parent ministry, they are solidly behind us. The Honorable Minister, Dr. Doris Uzoka Adite, would have been here. But of course, we know the PAMSEC is an hunger. They would have been here. But they will log on as we move on and also make their own contribution. So we have strong support. We have our sister agencies. They are all here represented. So we are very serious. So we are saying that at NEPC, we value your thoughts, your opinions, your ideas, and your insights. So as we make as such, we have made deliberate provision for stakeholders, industry experts, and export practitioners like yourself to contribute directly to the pressing issues at hand. So we have designated breakout session that, like we said, we have connectors. Vera, what are the names? We have connectors. Who? So if you're a connector, can you raise your hand? We've given you connectors. Please raise your hand. Okay, connectors. What's the next one? The creatives. Can you raise your hand? Okay. Which other one? What? The game changers. Can you raise your hand? Okay, so we are going to have those breaks. So these sessions are an opportunity for us to shape the future of Nigerian export, service export, in a dynamic and result-oriented way. So I encourage all of us to engage meaningfully, exchange ideas openly, and recommend actionable points that we can take and run with. So I'm confident that the panel session and the breakout discussions will serve as a dynamic forum for exchange of ideas and sharing of knowledge and developing actionable strategies. The diversity of topics from cross-border e-commerce talent export, IT infrastructure, and the creative industries ensures that we cover the breadth of opportunities available for our country to excel in the global space. So once again, I'd like to thank you for your presence. I thank you for your active participation, and I look forward to a very productive and impactful conference. Thank you.
Indeed, it will be a very productive and impactful conference. I'd like to recognize the presence of the SA to the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. He's wearing two caps today. He's sitting here representing the Permanent Secretary and also representing the Honorable Minister of Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. Please, let's appreciate Mr. Umaru Goni Hamed. Thank you so much for being with us. Also representing the Executive Secretary, Nigeria After Coordinating Office, we have That's Mr. Shegun Awolowo. We have representing him here, Dr. Fatima Bello. Please let's appreciate her. We also have here the head of components, access to markets and innovation, Sina Uti Waziri. Thank you for being here. You are welcome. So moving on quickly, we would like to take some goodwill messages from some of our special guests and government organizations represented here. I will start with the representative of the Managing Director, Oil and Gas Free Zones Authority, Alhaji Bamaga Usman Jada, being represented by Dr. Cynthia Egurudu. Let's welcome her for the goodwill message, please.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. The Honorable Minister, Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, the indefatigable, hardworking, tireless, dynamic Executive Director CEO of the NEPC, Mrs. Nonye Ayeni, heads of agencies present and represented, captains of industry here present, directors of the FMITI and NEPC, ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand with existing protocol. It gives me great pleasure today to be here and participate in this conference on international trading services. I am Dr. Cynthia Egurudu. I'm a Director and Chief Operating Officer at Oil and Gas Resources Authorities, SPV. It is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today and bring you this goodwill message on behalf of my Managing Director of the Oil and Gas Resources Authority, Bamaga Usman Jada, who's unavoidably absent today. He sends his most sincerest apologies to his sister for not being able to attend his away on official assignment. He expresses his gratitude and appreciation to the NEPC for organizing this event and says that it's a platform dedicated to generating ideas, sharing insights, exploring best practices to drive the growth, development, and diversification of Nigeria's economy through exports. He wishes for a successful conference and extends his warmest regards. And now read his message. The Oil and Gas Free Zones Authority, OGZA, is a national regulatory agency overseeing the operations of 8 Nigeria's oil and gas free trade zones: One, Notore, Eco Support, Liberty, Brass, Warri, and Orashi, located at River State, Lagos, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Delta, and Imo States, respectively. At OGZA, we have contributed over $34 billion to the economic development of Nigeria by attracting over 200 companies, which have facilitated the creation of over 100,000 jobs since inception. The Financial Times of London magazine, FDI, also named our free zone at One as the most successful in Africa, which, interestingly, is a services-based free zone. Therefore, we have seen firsthand how partnerships between the public and private sectors can catalyze the services sector towards economic growth. As NEPC champions the promotion and development of services exports, we at OGZA share a common goal of fostering economic diversification and economic growth. This conference serves as a critical avenue for shaping policies that promote exports, particularly in the services sector, establishing meaningful partnerships, and building the capacity of Nigerian businesses to thrive in international markets. It also presents an opportunity to attract foreign investments and stimulate innovation, aligning with the goals of both OGZA and NEPC, and also the renewed hope agenda of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. For Nigeria to succeed in global marketplace. We must leverage these platforms, create innovative policies, and support the ecosystem that enables our services sector to flourish. As we convene today, therefore, it is vital to remember that our shared mission of economic growth and export diversification unites us. NEPC's focus on non-oil services sectors and OGSA's efforts in oil and gas-free zones are complementary, creating opportunities for collaboration in infrastructure, services export, foreign investment attraction, etc. Therefore, I encourage all stakeholders present to use this platform to exchange ideas, form meaningful partnerships, and find practical solutions to propel Nigeria's export sector forward. In closing, I would like to once again commend my dear sister, Nonya Yeni, the ED CEO, of Nigerian Export Promotion Council for hosting this impactful event. She is tireless, fearsome, indefatigable, hardworking, dynamic, excellent woman. We at OGSA look forward to continued collaboration with you to strengthen Nigeria's export landscape and drive our nation's economic development forward. Thank you and happy deliberations. Bamanga Usman Jada. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Cynthia Egurudu. And for the Goodwill message from the National Coordinator, the Nigerian NAFTA Coordinating Office, I'd like to invite his representative, Dr. Fatima Bello. Please a warm round of applause as she comes. She's representing Mr. Shegun Awolowo, National Coordinator, Nigerian NAFTA Coordinating Office.
Good morning. The Honorable Minister, Federal Ministry of Investment, Trade and Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, the Permanent Secretary, the directors here present, the Executive Secretary of the Nigeria Export Promotion Council, the directors here present. Permit me to stand on the existing protocol. I am here to bring in, I bring the regards, the warm regards of the National Coordinator of the African Continental Free Trade Area Coordination Office, Mr. Olusegun Awolowo, who sends his apologies for not being able to be here in person, but however, he knows how important and critical this program is to the implementation of the Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. Digital trade is one of the areas that the Coordination Office is responsible for driving the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. And one of the important work we seek to do is to align the domestic legal instruments with the agreement itself for us to be able to create create access to our products and our businesses. And some of the ways that has been done, for example, in July is that Nigeria launched the Guided Trade Initiative, which saw some of our businesses export their products to other parts of the continent. And I'm also happy to report here that we do have a business which is which provides business services, which provides cards in the banking sector, as the Executive Secretary spoke about, as one of those businesses. So my National Coordinator wish to assure everybody that I reiterate its commitment to ensure that there's full implementation of the agreement, and then also wish to express their commitment to work with all stakeholders to ensure that we drive the digital trade, and then we bring on board our businesses, as this is the next phase that we're looking to get onto. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ma. And I dare say we saved the best for the last. Like I said when I was introducing him, he's a man who puts how do they say it, puts his mouth where his money is. He's committed to what he does, through and through. The last time he was here, I remember I said something about him having so many achievements, and then he came up and said, I don't know what the MC is talking about. And shortly after, he said, rolling out all the achievements. Please join me and celebrate and welcome the MD CEO Nexim, Mr. Abubakar Abba Bello, for his Goodwill message.
MC, there is a reason why I must be here when my sister, Nonya, invites me. First of all, Nexim and NEPC are two sides of the same coin because both organizations have the sole mandate of promoting Nigeria's non-oil export. But let me start by recognizing and honoring our Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anite, the Permanent Secretary here represented, my brother, and I mean my brother, Nura Abba Rimi, represented by another brother, Mr. Umar Guni, heads of agencies here present, and those represented. It is always my pleasure to participate in any activity the NEPC organizes. But this one is even more important to me because services export, or services in general, is the new oil. You heard the ED when she said services has overtaken agriculture as the biggest contributor of Nigeria's GDP. In fact, it contributes 54%. So every other thing combined is less than services. And she railed out sectors that contribute to this. We will not be serious if we do not promote service export. Globally, services contribute $7.1 trillion. It's a $7.1 trillion economy on its own. And it represents 7% of global trade. But the thing is that it is a growing sector, driven largely by what we're discussing today, the digital channels of service, using digital channels to deliver service and commerce for global trade. Nigeria today has a service value of about $4 billion, as she has mentioned. But let's compare it to India. India in 2023 generated $358 billion just from service exports, out of which business process outsourcing was $38 billion. For context, Nigeria's oil sector contributes 92% of our exports. Last year it was $45 billion. Just a bit over business process outsourcing from India. What I'm telling you or emphasizing is that our $4 billion is not anything to be ashamed of. It just presents that there is an opportunity for us to diversify and grow the economy using services. Just BPO, $38 billion. That's almost 7 times our non-oil exports. But it's a population we have of 230 million people. What are we going to do to push? 65% of which are youth. Very energetic. If I may borrow the words of your MD, represented by our ED here, very energetic people, very brilliant people, many of whom are well educated, very creative. If we organize them and support them, this creative and service sector is where we can quickly diversify this economy. Quickly. And there is no wonder that the Ministry of Communications is no more communications. It's communications and digital economy. Because, like I said when I was opening, the digital economy is the new oil. It's the future. So, I welcome NEPC's emphasis to start the discussion. We must start the discussion on how we're going to support this sector, to externalize it, to generate revenues from it internationally. So I'm not going to stand here and deceive us that there are no challenges. There are challenges. We're having a discussion just upstairs before we came. Some of those challenges are around infrastructure. Even the digital economy needs an infrastructure that currently we are in a deficit. But then there's also data gathering and data collection. If you look at our exports today, non-oil exports, you won't see services at all. Why? Because we're not capturing it. Meanwhile, we are saying that our entertainment industry is entertaining the whole world. Our music is all over the world. Our films are all over the world. Many of us have creative talents, art, and so many other things that are considered service. But we're not capturing it. In fact, airpeace flying to London is service. Yet we haven't captured the revenues. The bank's Zenith in Ghana is service, export. We're not capturing. So in our discussion, we must speak about the infrastructure to support this digital economy and service export. We must speak about data collection. How do we do it? And how do we ensure those revenues that are generated by our talented youth are repatriated back home? Not with Rolls Royce or Daimler, whatever, cars and things, but the value that can be used to grow this economy and take it forward. So, you would ask me, what is Nexim Bank doing that? What is Nexim Bank doing to support this growing sector of the economy? One of the pillars of Nexim support, by the way, for those that don't know, Nexim is a development finance institution purposely set to promote non-oil export through provision of finance, both in funding and instruments. So what is Nexim doing? We have 4 principal pillars, and services is one of them. Whether it's in creatives, entertainment, movies, and so many other things. Are there accountants here? Lawyers? Architects? Many of whom, our sister, one of your heads of agencies here, has a law firm that provides law services along West Africa. It's export of service. So we can export services by the profession that we have. Not everybody is talented and skillful to do creatives. But we all have our values that makes our economy or the service sector contribute 54% of our economy. It's all of us. And we can export it to those that have deficit. So Nexim can finance you to provide services anywhere in the world. But you must show us how you're going to repatriate the revenues back home. In addition, we have gone into a partnership with Nigerian Content Management Board and put $80 million on the ground to support Nigerian engineers in the oil and gas sector. Why? When we say we're a non-oil agency, provision of engineering services is not oil and gas. It's engineering. So we're using that fund to grow capacity of our engineers and those that are in services in the oil and gas sector so that we export it to newfound oil wells around Africa. Our engineers, because of many years of capacity that we have built, are now capable of going to other parts of Africa or the world to give those services. So anything that we can use to support service and service export, Nexim Bank is interested and will work with NEPC to make it happen. With that, I wish to congratulate you for this initiative. Not that the discussions have happened, but even the thought that we need to focus on service export is the way to go. And I hope the deliberations here are going to contribute towards organizing this sector to capturing data and provision of infrastructure for us to do it effectively. Thank you very much.
Now you see what I talked about. That could easily pass for a paper presentation, don't you think so? A lot of facts, a lot of figures, a lot of suggestions that are very key to why we're here. Can we please appreciate the MD CEO Nexim one more time? And he said something really profound that he hopes by the time we're done here, we're going to propose solutions that are around three things. He said, organizing the sector, structuring the sector, capturing data, and creating infrastructure. And so please keep these three things in mind when we have the breakout sections, so that as you're sharing ideas and brainstorming and coming up with those policies, there will be policies and ideas that would address these three things that he pointed out. According to him, the digital economy is the new oil and is the future. And we are here to make it happen. Thank you so much, sir, for that goodwill message. And to round off the opening ceremony, let's please welcome the Honorable Minister of the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Doris Uzoka, ably represented by the SA to the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Umar Goni Ahmed. Please, let's give this warm round of applause for the minister. He's standing here in her stead. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your good work. I think you have collaborated. What I wanted to say that the MD of Nexim Bank has already concluded on this topic, which is charting the course for Nigerian service export through digital trade platforms. And already the executive director of NEPC, Madam Noye Ayeni, she has already stimulated the environment through her welcome address. She touched on so many areas whereby I know the panelists and the breakout session will be able to tap from those insightful information she gave us. I know she's very, very passionate about particularly e-commerce. I can recall in the recent past, ITC collaborated with NEPC and they had a program on e-commerce, I think in Imo State, and maybe one in Abuja here also. And that was very, very, very comprehensive. We appreciate that, Madani. Good morning, everybody, once again. My name is Umar Goni Ahmed. I'm the Special Assistant to the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. Like the AD has already said, I want to convey the apologies of the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Doris Anite, as well as Ambassador Noura Abrahimi, who are both in the ONGA, 79th session of the ONGA, holding in New York at the moment. So they sincerely send their apologies and then wish they could have been here for this very, very important event. Having said that, I want to recognize once again the Executive Director of Nigeria Export Promotion Council, Madam Noye Areini, and also the Managing Director of Nexim Bank, my brother Ababello, whom coincidentally I served on his board when I was with the Federal Ministry of Industry and Investment. And it was a very, very interesting encounter and a lot of experience were tapped in that board where I worked with him closely. We very much also know that the directors of NEPC, for me, this is home. Anytime, anywhere I find NEPC having an event, I try to make sure that I attend that event. And today, I'm privileged and honored to stand before you here representing the principals of the ministry. That is Dr. Azoka Elite, the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, as well as the Permanent Secretary, Ambassador Noura Abrahimi. Having said that, I want to read the keynote address of the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Doris Azoka Anite, who coincidentally we share the same birthday with her, you know. So I'm wearing, maybe this is a very good opportunity and privilege that I'm presenting her speech, having that kind of a coincidence. It's a very rare occasion that you find somebody representing two principals at the same time, but it's a privilege and it's a honor. Thank you very much. Distinguished conference participants, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor to be here today at this pivotal conference on service export and e-commerce, organized by the Nigerian Export Promotion Council with the theme, Charting the Course for Nigerian Service Export through Digital Trade Platforms. I commend Nigerian Export Promotion Council under the able leadership of Madam Noye Ayeni for their timely initiative and steadfast commitment to advancing Nigeria's export sector. This gathering of experts, no doubt, industry leaders and stakeholders, marks an important step forward towards unlocking the full potential of Nigeria's service export industry. As we are all aware, the global trade landscape is undergoing significant changes, with services and e-commerce becoming central to economic growth. The service sector in particular has emerged as the powerful engine for innovation, job creation, and economic diversification in Nigeria as it is. Nigeria is blessed with a rich talent pool and thriving industries such as IT, finance, creative arts, and professional services is well positioned to take a leadership role in the global services market. You recall that just not too long ago, the MD of Nexim Bank has emphasized and reiterated what is obtained globally in terms of services. Nigeria cannot be left behind. We need to also key into that sector because it's really, really on top. Like we all know that during the FAC meetings, we share the oil revenue, we share the FRS revenue, we share the non-oil, which is the leading agency is NEPC. They bring to the table that non-oil revenue that is being shared among that all of us receive our salaries, and then the infrastructure comes into it as well. Central to today's discussion is the transformative power of digital platforms in global trade. These platforms have revolutionized the way businesses connect, providing vast opportunities for service providers to expand internationally. Digital trade platforms help break down traditional barriers, as you are aware, facilitate cross-border transactions, and drive export inclusiveness, especially for small and medium enterprises, that's the SMEs, as we are all aware, that were once restricted by geographical and infrastructural barriers or limitations. The initiative to develop a digital platform dedicated to boosting Nigeria's services export is both timely and strategic. Through sustained growth and development, this platform will not only provide viable market access opportunities, but also structure efforts to mainstream women and the skilled, talented youth populace into the global economy, thereby promoting economic diversification, which will not only benefit the service sector, but also make a significant contribution to the overall economy. To fully harness these opportunities, Nigeria must proactively invest in the right infrastructures, provide robust support systems, and implement policies that empower service providers to thrive in the digital marketplace. I honestly applaud the NEPC for its efforts to develop a platform that will showcase Nigeria's world of services and products. As we witness the prototype demonstrations and of the proposed platform today, I urge industry players. I can see we have a very, very ample, the outcome is quite receptive. I urge the industry players to collaborate with NEPC to refine these ideas and bring them to life. Our collective aim is to strategically leverage digital platforms to promote and mainstream Nigeria's service exports. As we engage in the discussions today, let us be guided by a shared vision of positioning Nigeria as a global leader in service exports. By mainstreaming our services export for sustainable national development, we can also create new economic opportunities, reduce unemployment, and ensure that the benefits of globalization are equitably distributed among our people. The Federal Ministry of Industry and Investment, and in collaboration with Nigerian Export Promotion Council, is committed to creating an enabling environment for this vision to be realized. Our economic agenda places digital trade and e-commerce at the core of our service sector strategy. By investing in digital infrastructure, developing talent, and fostering innovation, we will build a strong ecosystem where Nigerian services can easily reach global markets. The collaboration between public and private sectors, PPP, is essential for driving this growth. Particularly pleased that today's program not only includes high-level discussion, but also features practical breakout sessions where stakeholders can engage deeply with key topics. These discussions on cross-border e-commerce, export inclusiveness, talent infrastructure, and creative exports align with Nigeria's broader national export priorities and will help shape actionable strategies. In conclusion, as we deliberate today, I encourage everyone to participate actively and contribute valuable insights. Together, we can position Nigeria's service exports at the forefront of the global digital economy, boosting competitiveness and driving sustainable national development. On this note, I want to sincerely thank Madam Noye Ayeni, the Executive Director of NEPC, for organizing this very, very important event. And I wish all participants fruitful deliberations. I also want to wish all those outside Abuja and those within Abuja a safe journey to your respective destinations. I welcome you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I must say that you have won those 2 caps very well. Please, let's appreciate him one more time. So now we'll take a little break to get the group photograph in, and that will give us an opportunity to stretch and release the tension on our legs. We've been sitting for about an hour now, so let's stretch it out a bit as we go for the photographer. So we'll do the group photograph in this manner. Shortly after that, as soon as we're done with the group photograph, we'll go for the tea break. But I'd like to give the structure that we will follow so that we can go through it seamlessly. So for the group photograph, we'll have the ED and all our dignitaries seated in front. Stay there at the photo booth. Have a picture. When they are done, the directors will join them there. We'll have the second picture. Then the ED, all the special guests and directors will come back here so that all the participants can come up the stage and we'll have the full group photograph. Was that clear? So we're having three now. First one, ED and all the dignitaries. First picture. Second picture, ED, the dignitaries, and all the directors of Nigerian Exports Promotion Council, still on that axis. So for the third one, they will all come here, and all the participants will come up stage and join them. And as soon as we're done with that, the ED CEO and the management team will also lead all the dignitaries to the breakfast table upstairs for the tea break, and then all the participants will join as soon as they are done. So let's get that started now. ED CEO, ma. All our dignitaries seated in front. Cameramen, please position yourself so that we don't keep them standing for very long. Kingsley, Champion, Obiora, gentlemen of the press. Dr. Obiora Madu. Okay, I was looking for you. MD CEO Nexim, okay, he's walking in. Please join the picture, sir. Photographers, the arrangement, does it work for you? Okay, please let's get that in. Please, can the ushers get some seats so that we would have enough space for the directors to fit into that space? Can we get about 6 chairs so that the ED and some of the dignitaries can be seated and the directors can fit into that space, please? Okay, the directors, please join the photograph now. Ushers, please, I need somebody positioned here to see if we can move this flower vase for the full photograph. Even the tripod. Okay, while that is going on, please, can everybody please just come up the stage so that we can be fitting ourselves before they come and stay here. So sorry for all the inconveniences, please. Please, can we kindly just come up stage? And then they will join us. We can come up here and take up all the space. And then the ED and the dignitaries will stand right here. That's the only way we can probably get everybody in the picture. the ED has gone upstairs and she's expecting all of you to kindly join her.